point of feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your servant... It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your servant friend. Indeed, you'd put the serpent through this ventilator and wait. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. Do you deny the snake has undergone such training? It's not true. Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once, and his venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt my logic is infallible. Death by a venomous snake's bite. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor you will observe a source of milk. The fullness of food is key to training any creature. Incredible. You've solved mystery. Amazing! Your great deduction really lives up to its name. See now why Sherlock Holmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Holmes? But of course, what's on your mind? It's just about your deductions before. Some things didn't quite make sense to me. Don't they? I welcome questions as to my method. I will answer both loudly and proudly. Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile. Are they? Of course they are. I remember holding a snake before. I don't remember how many years ago, but my cousin's old boyfriend had a pet snake. One time we went on holiday there. Back to Radcliffe, I mean, and got to hold the snake. I can't remember what. Don't remember what type it was. Can't tell if it was a boa constrictor, but then again, I've never been good for remembering the breeds of animals. Part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madam. Ah! Yes. really in the mammals I'd like to think of, you see. And so, I'm not sure it would be possible to turn a snake using milk and would, wouldn't it? That was sarcasm, by the way. I know it's not. No matter, no doubt Miss Pavlova used some of her treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example, the logic holds. Well, there is something else. Snakes have no ears. Ah! Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal to a snake by whistling. But madam, what of the tales of from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute? I think perhaps the performers play the music. Really? The only time I've seen anything similar to that was in Jumanji. The second one. Welcome to the jungle. I think perhaps the performers play the music and the snakes natural movements. Like I said, work in progress. That's why there's still only slightly higher pitch than my normal voice. I have to think of something because she ends up in this. She disguises herself in the next one. Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears. These creatures are so inept to be practically useless. Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes. There is one other thing. You have more? Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. That I did not know. So, I'm not really sure how that snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these guys. Then it should try harder. Please, don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there is a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine a snake. Huh? Could have had a part in this. Oh, the dots. I think we need to step in and help again, Miss Nuff. God, that voice is so corny. Need to think up something quick. Well, before next episode. Oh no, you don't mean... Yes, you need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions and turn them into the great ones they ought to. I had a feeling that was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, right. So, cast your eyes down to your wrist again. What? You've done it again. The handcuffs gone. Where did they go? Fear not, I shall see them restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is about to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Holy Mr. Sholmes. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. She does have a pained expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks as though Cousin Salmon's death is weighing heavily on her. But you're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, that? Maybe some other way to interpret her expression then. Let's take a look. I really look very closely at Miss... I'm gonna give her my normal voice for the time being, till I can think up a good substitute. I really look very closely, Miss Pavlova.
Yes!
Yes, when you recall those hard events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night? Ah! When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I'm sad, the pain from this wound is worse. Pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So, we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was a friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. It seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which Pavlova. Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? Let's try identity of that friend of hers. Uh-huh. I have a feeling. There was this teapot that Miss Pavlova's eyes flickered over to before. You think this is the prince I'm talking about? Well, we all differ, aren't we? Whatever you might say about it, if that's the way she feels. I don't think there's anything about it. You... So Sato, I think his idiocy standing above on you. Wait, that's not what I meant.
Yes!
What spectacularly contrived logic led you to this mindless conclusion? Oh, well, it's supposed to be logic and reasoning spectacular, so I thought I'd contribute to the show. This is my show, Mr. Naruto. Kindly perform any peculiar experiments on your own stage. Ah, sorry. We must need to examine the photo frame then. Ah, look at the photograph in this frame. It's supposed to be something Miss Pavlova when she ran away. She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? Yes, that's true. Personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Maybe we'd better take a closer look at this.
Yes!
There we go. Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? Dark, I would have appeared to be of Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band, whereas regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, Faye? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you're trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's low skin. Well, it is speckled and it is a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy, a long piece of cloth of some sort. It looks like a handle on it. I think it may be a cat's toy. This sort of is common in the West. Really? I only... Then again, that was the 1800s, if I recall. Seems that either Nick's dad or he lost the ability to observe, analyze things because from the time lapse, actually no, that makes me great grandpa. Generations down. How is that a toy for cats? Cats like to chase down and paw it. Kittens in particular, that's what. You need to wait in front of them and the hounds catch it. That sounds positively adorable.
Yes!
Yes, the thing you're trying but failing to conceal is a cat's toy. Precisely, and the true nature of the now infamous speckled band. And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume? Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can be only one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared with the ventilator into the neighbouring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Ah. Yes, that does seem most likely. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darker. A truly troublesome feline, young Darker is proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. The photograph of Miss Pavlova and Darker has been entered into the call record. It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand and then ran up the bell cord. If I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Darker, she is so naughty. A beloved kitten. Topic 2. How Mr. Sophie died. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life? And why? According to the data of which I've been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by internal venom. What Mr. Strum says is true. God damn it, I'm doing a terrible job with the voice. Whatever, hopefully by the time I finish this, I'll have a better one. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Cosmo's stomach. That's right. But Mrs. Sholmes seems to be aware of one very important detail. Cosmo wasn't poisoned. Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information that's missing now.
Yes!
In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah, yes, I knew it was one or the other. His neck was... Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath will be strong enough to survive that. Seaman Stroganoff isn't some kind of a moral freak, you know. The jury's out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it had a similar crime. Or no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Cosmo died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something or someone. Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found there. Presumably, Darker didn't silently creep up behind Cosmo and deal him a fatal blow. I suppose it is possible that he had fallen hit quite awkwardly. It could have been an act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident. Oh, yes, bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe that Cosmo saw him. Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened?
Yes!
Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow and dye were my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. Shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Sogi must have caught his foot at that point into the floor and tripped. Please, no. And, by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to his spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant, he lost his life. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Sogi lost his life? Yes, the facts were as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. I don't believe it. Cosmo saw him really. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened. And if this part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that proved it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Yeah, I wonder. Let's have a good look around. Lens must be here somewhere. Ah, somebody appears to have dropped 20,000 rubles there. It hasn't been dropped, no Hodo-san. It's been placed. I'm starting to sound like Mr. Sholmes. Stop trying to sound like the great detective. Where's it got to? Bingo! Had a hunch that was it.
Yes!
That's right, you hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that wastepaper basket. Oh. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has a very familiar air, in fact. Precisely, we found no piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Sogi's cabin. And, as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no. So, Miss Pavlova, should we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? You're well acquainted with this glass ball, are you not? Bell, not ball. What the... I don't know, in that hushed bush accent of yours. Won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What the... Take it away, Miss Naruhodo. Yes. Evidence linking Miss Pavlova and little glass bell, that would be...
Yes!
If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darker's collar, the very glass bell in question. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. I can't read. Well, I can, but I'm going to start trying to pronounce it. Something. And of course that fateful stumble. Your absent feline friend, Darker. I couldn't tell you. I'm sorry. Death by tripping over a cat. Solved! Deduction complete. Elementary. Why did you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I... Then all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped on my hands. Go on, give another fucking Susato voice. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. She was so fast, she disappeared with a ventilator before I could stop her. And that is how you acquired the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it? Yes. And I had read the, rules and say, well, I knew that I was not allowed to talk with me. Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it safe to try to lure the kitten back again, by dangling the end of that toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin. Darko always loves his toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return. So the faint whistling sound Cosmo wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to... yeah. Then... I nearly passed out of shock. I heard her cry out and then... oh, it was such a dreadful bang. And then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. Cosmo was... from the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The SS Bowyer is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Sergei was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet, the combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. What became of the kitten afterwards? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. Yet Darko is nowhere to be seen. I must have forgotten to look my keys, and now she's disappeared again. Gracious, that cat is as insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knew something about himself, at least. When I woke this morning, I heard that the young man in the cabin next to mine had died, but I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was so scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right, where is it? The snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it? Where did it come from? What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board this ship? Yeah, it's Stroganov's. You can tell from the smile on his face. Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is Prosko. What? What? That snake belongs to you? He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin? But animals are not permitted on board. Ha! You're at sea for 1 year. You want to be so long without close friend, without someone who understands. That's fair. But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake? Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting up me. Don't call me Shirley. No venom. Prochko does not have venom. He is harmless, very long but very gentle. He is adorable like Granny. It's venomless. Yes, and now he is hungry, so he is in bad mood. But once I feed him, you will see big smile. And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? Ha! Like they say they milk chickens? Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk only in stupid stories. Piroshko eats mouses. Big fat round mouses. So... is that what the mousetrap in the pastry out there is for? Of course! How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes, I know. It refuses to drink milk. It can't hear a whistle, it can't climb up a bell cord, and it's not even venomous. How the deuce did something so inept land a starving rogue? It's not my fault, I do not make up stories. My Piroshko has nothing to do with this incident. So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. Can't say I don't pay you. Miss Pavlova. I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. Please remember this. God, I'm giving up a fucking fish. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then... no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But... what are you talking about, Miss Mikatoba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It's just a series of unfortunate events. An accident. No, it's not a book series of unfortunate events. I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't ever give from him the truth. But even I can see that was not... don't you agree, Miss Naga? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it. I confess, I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh? I am only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Ah! Not again. When did you do that? Especially as they're on your wrist as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours. Was he not? Yes. Cosmo was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story. Sure, if I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. The truth about how you really died. About how that scene in your cabin really came to be. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Thank you, Miss Naruhodo. So then, shall we begin? Yes. Oh god, not third one. I'm already brain dead from... Was this truly an unfortunate accident, or was it in fact no accident at all? That is what we must establish in the first instance. We've already established it, haven't we? Yeah, we've already established. The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into his cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident. Oh wait, that was Hosonaga. Wait, let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, does it? I'm going to have to ask you to spell out for me, I'm afraid. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Cosmo's... cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really? Let us show our hand, Miss Naruhodo. Time to present the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident.
Yes!
This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. That's the glass bell the kid had around his neck. We really know about that. It's broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. Unfortunately, there is a very big flaw, a fatal flaw. If that's really what happened, then how did one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin? Yes, remember that we found the other half of the glass ball in that waste paper basket? Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh, no. That's not easy. There's something else we found in Mr. Sogi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there for Miss Pavlova told us was... What? So, Sisatho-san has noticed it too then. Putting the piece of glass aside, there's something else that gives the truth away.
Yes!
The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Sogi could have left this message on the floor. That script, it's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people leave a dying message in their native language. Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. That doesn't seem likely. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry, what do you mean? Exactly what I said before. There is no way that Mr. Sogi could have left this message on the floor. And the reason why is clearly explained in here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Instant death. Ah! Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything. Because he was already dead. Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. Now, when Mr. Sogi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth, in order to cover up their own guilt. Yes, there was someone else present. You're wasting time. Someone else was there? Ah, of course, we know this. What are you talking about? Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in or out. Oh yes. And only other person in cabin when young student died was you.
Yes!
It's true. I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian. There's no way you would have left that message. Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message, to be precise about the details. Would you mind? Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor, in an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there the entire time. And then the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor, threw it, becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Sogi really died. But why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions. Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. The single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light onto the floor there. Little wonder then that the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item. You all suspect me, don't you? Seaman Stroganov. Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills, and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dance on the ship, a member of ship's band. You do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. Ah, so that's it. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that is not possible. I give my tooth. Well, this is almost interesting. And why would you give your tooth, Faye? How can you be so sure? You are a great detective, you should know. Look truth in eyes, cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go in the cabin, not Nina, not anybody. Or you want to tell me that killer can walk with locked doors? Yep, it is impossible. Ah, he's right. But wait, I read about this in detective stories. People often lie. Lie? Tie thread around door latches so we can open and close them. Fred, are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors. Certainly not. These are watertight doors, one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel, with nothing up in sight. No threads or needles or magnets have been used. No, of course not. I impossible to. Mr. Naruhodo. Haranodo? Pardon my English. I suggested it earlier, so. Susato-san, how could you shift onto me like that? So Seaman Stroganov has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been barred shut from the outside. Not necessarily. What? I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of the method I have in mind having been used before. Don't believe it. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? Way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside. One way does spring to mind, yes. Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, and so should you. Because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have. So, would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruhodo? Point out the telling signs of the method was used to slide the cabin door bolt across from the outside. Ha.
Yes!
Look at the bookcase there. See how all the books and things on it have toppled over? That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop. Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. I believe, yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia acting on the objects. Is there nothing Susato-san doesn't know? Well, that isn't in her book, at least. Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over these books on the bookcase also made something else in this cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. It was very obvious, just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come into this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... oh yes. That's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and knocked the door. Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inertia, if you want to call it that. Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Sogi was killed? The SS Barrier made another emergency stop. When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It's almost as if somebody had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over. Oh, yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again. Then when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Sogi's cabin. Oh my. Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say barrier make emergency stop. It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Oh, it is simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm. Oh, yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there? Then you need to press a button in times of emergency. On dark nights, when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons on the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Wait, it was you? When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today. Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who... As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion. He sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with sheep? I report you to Captain. You're in much trouble now. Now, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, what we must now consider... Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Sogi, did this ship make an emergency stop? Or did it not? You are idiots! Barrier's huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop, even in the middle of night, there would be chaos everywhere. What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. Really? What? Oh wait. What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo? Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. Hmm.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff, it's your duty to patrol the first class area in the ship, isn't that right? Ah, that is correct. Why? And the ship's log here. This would be where you record the details of your duties. What are you doing with that? That is mine. Ah, you rather carelessly left it atop the little makeshift bureau in the passageway up there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with a mind to return it to later. I left it there on purpose. That is where I put it always. The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances, you write the phrase nothing to report every 3 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log? That is... because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you would normally write nothing to report, wouldn't you? Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened here about the Asperia. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Stop talking rubbish! If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself. Oh, why? Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. It's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we'll know what it feels like. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was up. I can't imagine. Well, no, that's a good point. What of the throbbing? Sorry, what do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We have all suffered with it. Ah! Oh, yes, I have had a headache, sure. In fact, I haven't been feeling well. I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. I've not tried a female voice before, hence why this is a WIP. Just as I suspected. He's right, my head's been throbbing late today too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. Can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. And the first thing I noticed this morning was from pain in my head. I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe and had those handcuffs for me by that point. Why didn't I wake up when all that was happening to me? Tell me, Miss Naruto, you boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes, sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Well, Cosmo looked after me. I was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Cosmo wasn't fond of chicken. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? I do. No! Really? Is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of a soporific designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. A sleeping drug? Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug so no one would notice this ship's emergency stop? Trying to vary the characters' voices. That's why I'm testing one on Susato. Miss Naruto, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What far-fetched idea? Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible, unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. What? Mr. Sholmes? Well, Seaman. I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. Inquiry? God, I keep getting inquiry and inquiry mixed up. And were that to happen, every member of the crew and the captain himself would be hauled over the coals for aiding and abetting a renegade. No more. I will tell everything. I cannot make problems like this of everyone anymore. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe? Yes, so when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me. We all agreed to help, everyone together. She threw away everything, her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel. I don't believe it. You are right. We put sleeping drug in chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I did notice you in a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. We could not make all drug. How do you say, dissolve? Talk about heavy seasoning. At midnight in the waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. He was held by Conrad on shore in a small fishing boat, while all the passengers of the Hesperia slept soundly, thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion their evening meals had contained. So that's what happened. Did any people awake on the ship last night? were the crew, people who dislike chicken, and newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Cosmo's cabin door. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Ah, of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite, and accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. Yes. The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway, and so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit forced the entire vessel into an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. You have talked a long time and said many things. What is point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency night. I don't know about any. I'm just, really. You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait. What? I am quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes? Do you hear it? That accusatory cry of guilt on the wind? What accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. No, you must hear it with your eyes. Observation is the basis of all deduction. What are you talking about? I believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. So, Mr. Naruhodo, your assistance, if you please. What exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow, just as I said, of those two prevaricators. Observation. If you remember, Mr. Naruhodo, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, didn't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Sogi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. God, I switched out my voice file improves by the time I finish the game. Precisely, you're delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Cosmo died. What suggests that someone else was on the scene? Oh, look at this. There's some kind of stain in an unusual place. Yes, you're right. It looks like ink, if I'm not mistaken. Ink. And look at the colour too. It's clear where this came from.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there. Yes, I don't know where it comes from. So, no, it would appear that the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It's very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform. I think I'll read it, it's clear. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Narrator, presented your evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves what the stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform really is.
Yes!
Yes, this photograph and the ink it shows, that's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink. A rather unusual colour of ink. Purple. Ah! Ah, the penny drops at last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of the uniform is ink of exactly the same colour. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means you must have been present in the cabin in the moments immediately after the ink was spilled. Alright, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in that student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. Then I pressed button to make barrier to emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect the Angel. Please. Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. Then an angel came to me. She was white like sheet. I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw a student boy on the floor. Oh, what happened here? My little furry friend. Everything that happened in cabin is like Angel told you. The kitten escaped through the ventilator in Mr. Sogi's cabin. Then he tripped over and broke his neck when he fell to the floor. Yes, that is right. So after the incident when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers, only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor. She said she was worried when she heard sound of something falling on the floor. That's when she went to look. No, Angel. The door was not locked, so she opened to look, and you already know what happened after. There's just one thing, if you don't mind. What? When you went to Mr. Sogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Wait. I already told you. When Nina opened the door of Jordan's cabin and... I was asking Miss Pavlova. Well, Miss Pavlova? Huh. Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. So is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Cosmo's death at last? Ah, something very nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck, therefore the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, if there's the facts, there's one particular area in this photograph that seems to me somewhat unusual, unnatural. What do you mean, unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Miss Naruto? Oh, well. It's safe to say, if Cosmo tripped and fell and by some type of stroke broke his neck, this photographic print seems unnatural.
Yes!
This word in Russian clearly wasn't written by Cosmo, so if you're looking for something unnatural, that's the obvious point. Very true, it is... Oh. If Cosmo tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck, which part of the photographic print seems unnatural?
Yes!
Nope.
Yes!
Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't seem quite right. The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say, as though he were gripping something. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. You did? And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, right here, fellow? Mr. Sholmes, show us, please. God, I just broke out my voice now. Why, of course, my dear madam. Would I keep you in suspense? This is what I found. Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone. Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. A pity, but what does it tell us? It tells us nothing. I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Observation, Miss Naruto. That is the key. The truth is now tantalizingly close. How did that crescent moon come to be in Cosmo's clenched fist? This is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe, find the answer with your own eyes. Earring.
Yes!
Yes, Pavlova, I noticed on your ear. Even though you have a metal earring, the decorative part of it seems to be missing. The little link holding it on must have broken, I suppose. What? But looking at your other ear, I notice a crescent moon. I don't believe it. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there's only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. Miss Pavlova, Mr. Osogi must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before you fell to the floor? In other words, last night, in Mr. Osogi's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. Literally? Literally at arm's length from him. But then, the question is, why did Mr. Osogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments? Angel. No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night... What did you do to Kazuma? Yeah. Well, think about everything that happened yesterday. It was so much running away. What are you doing here in this time of night, Inspector? Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. The young man from your country, he was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darker, and he promised not to tell anyone. And then, when I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin... Just a moment. Sorry, but... I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Ah, of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina. No, I don't know that name. I hardly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina? Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment. Can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no choice. I see. So you ran away. Please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone. Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. I don't think I could trust him. Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait! I shouted, and then... Naruhodo jumped down my arms and dropped down to the young man's feet, and... As he turned around to look at me... I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared, and... I had to stop him from telling anyone about me. And that's when you went to fetch help? From Seaman Stroganov, who was on duty out in the passageway? I heard Nina cry out, then foot on floor. So I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door, shaking like a leaf. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Beef. If they find out, I will be. Please, I've nowhere to go." So you decided to help. And that's when you arranged things in Cosmo's cabin to make it look like I did it? So that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door? Yes. I went into the cabin and I looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found Stowaway in the wardrobe, still sleeping. Right, that's when you found me. So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the Stowaway? I closed wardrobe doors and put back strange paper sign. Luckily for me, that's the only reason Susato-san started to believe me unless I was innocent. I dragged young man's body to a good place and used ink that was spilling the right on floor. I wrote wardrobe so that don't know how to pronounce that. So that person who found him would look inside the wardrobe and find the Stowaway. And tell me, what of the glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up. I see. It was dark in the cabin, I didn't notice the other half. Then Angel went back to her cabin, and I finished job. But pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway? Yes. Accordingly, the SS barrier did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 a.m. Thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova. Well, you said that you told Cosmo about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland. It's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right? But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why wouldn't that have been a problem? It was what you said first. That made me scared. What you said first? You said an inspector was his friend. Ah, yes, meaning me. He was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard. I thought that if the police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before you could pull the bell cord, I... May I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Soki really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What do you think, Miss Naruto? Well, I'm not Cosmo, so I can't know for certain. But he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then you wouldn't have done. No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. Well, Miss Naruto, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There's one more deduction to make. What, another deduction? Yes, what action was the victim really about to take in that moment? The wardrobe. Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed? First, consider the victim's location within his cabin. That's easy. I remember every detail in that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. That cabin has been my home for this entire voyage. So this is how the cabin looked last night when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama? Yes, it's exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Miss Naruto? Yes, if there's one thing I've learned today, a simple gaze can reveal all manner of truths. Not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze where it lands. So when you turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuma looking at?
Take that!
Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Kazuma was going to ring the bell cord. Yes, however, what is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe. The wardrobe? And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly. Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Sogi's exact words last night? Give me a moment, I could use another opinion. Yes, but not from a member of this crew. No, Mr. Sogi intended to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if, between them, they may be able to help in some way, no doubt. Oh no. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for it. But we should make sure what Mr. Sogi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had. Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did, and that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Beria was finally laid to rest. What happened to Miss Pavlova now then? Wow, he sure fixed his glasses quick. Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. About the fact that she ran away from Russia, and the Russians tried to repatriate her. Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort that out. Mr. Sholmes can do that? So she won't be going back to Russia then? No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she'll be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. I see. I'm sorry. See, Ivan Stroganov? I wanted to help our angel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you, about how you lost good friend. I will go, Nina. I will give myself the British police. That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Husband's death feels like such a waste, but... Well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Da. Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consulate to arrange your passage back to... Yes. It's still away after all. I couldn't really expect any different. So, you should get back to your cabin now. Looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun then. I think only days ago, Cosmo and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. Seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Susato-san? No, Haru-san, I didn't know you'd been... Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosonaga just told me I should pack, you know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. So, come here, this is happening. Come here. Uh-huh. Susato-san. It's such kind of good. Yeah. Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say. My duty was to see Sogi-san safely to Great Britain, but I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. Let them down. I won't do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. I'm vegan, Nali. Huh? Surprised, Mr. Narrator? What is the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. Simply out of my head, I think I should always picture you wearing these shackles. Without them, their balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry. So I decided to restore them, for every time's sake, shall we say. You are. He thinks this is funny. Mr. Sholmes. I do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you. Yeah. Not at all, not at all. And there is a little late. May I offer my sincere condolences? The loss of your companion is truly heart-rending. I hope that you'll be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened. What? Wait a minute! It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was a stowaway. In terms of this study tour, we negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. There's to be one lawyer and one assistant. What's to be? In light of Mr. Sogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. Oh no, I don't care for me, but... What's Susato-san? My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, Shirley. Yes, and don't call me Shirley. But there is no one else with necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. No other lawyer. Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid. Oh, but anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good bumper time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. Yes. Miss Susato? Yes? Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it? But you're not a lawyer, Miss Naruhodo. Oh, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... I'm sorry, in that case I don't think there's even a chance it could work. But as I said, there's still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain. Miss Naruhodo, That's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anyone could learn all of that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector. Every single day. Will you let me try? And if, by the time you reach Great Britain, I haven't learned enough to be a recognized lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? For Cosima, he said that was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Miss Susato? I think it's a wonderful idea. Thank you. So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? One lawyer and one assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No, it's madness! Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? Fascinating? Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest, give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character, you know? And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until the same moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector! After all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. Oh, thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. Yep, definitely gonna have to improve on my Susato voice. I'm used to just speaking my normal voice for those characters. Are you really prepared to attempt this, Miss Naruto? Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? About everything about being a lawyer? I'd be delighted to help you. I'm a judicial assistant after all. Thank you. And, Miss Naruto, I'd like you to take a try on this. What? Me? Are you sure? I'm sure it's what causes some. You are his closest friend, after all. His name is Karma. It's a great soul has been... God, that makes me laugh. The soul is called Karma, and in English, it's Von Karma. Very well, I accept. I'll try for always. So then, Mr. Sato, it seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet. It would be an honor. No, Mr. Naruto. Yes, that's exactly what I need. Before we begin, I have another favour to ask of you too. Goodness, what is it? Please throw me to the ground. 3 times. What? I should never have doubted you. You were Cosmo-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. Yeah. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behaviour. No. No, you're in shock. Just found out about me stowing away. And the cabin door was locked on the inside. No! I won't let you make excuses for me. God, my voice... I'm definitely going to.